Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. I was about to go live and about to start talking, and then I immediately had like a coughing fit. So I'm gonna take a quick little drink of water. Excuse me, I know it's a professional. Wonderful. And now we're gonna be prepared to go. We're ready to hop into it. The draft game number one of it's actually a best of one, so there's no extra ifs, ands, or buts about it. The loser of this one's gonna go home, and it's Newbie Young facing off against it says Gulu, but it's actually EHOME.Keen. And a couple things about these teams. You might not be too familiar with them, and to be honest with you, I'm not the most familiar with them either. They've been changing it around for a whole heck of a long time. So if you take a look at EHOME.Keen, it's kind of a bit of a mixture of players. So you have Wrong, who's been around the block more than a few times. Obviously was previously playing with the Invictus Gaming guys, playing with them when it was like the Ferrari squad. Now he switched on over into eHome. You also have I can't know how exactly to pronounce it, but the his high. He was playing for another long while on a couple of Tier 2 teams originally from Duabao, but he's been on EHOME.Keen for a while at this point. And then you've also got the two Chinese letters that I don't know, but he was previously on Speed Gaming. I remember him as well. So those are sort of the three more well-known players. You've also got Dark there who's playing. And then on the other side, of course, for Newbie Young, probably the more accomplished guy. You have Jeje, who was previously playing on Tong Fu, but he's switched back to Newbie Young. He was on Newbie Young for a while, and I think that they're probably the more accomplished of the teams. Like, this was also Zhao Zhao on Tong Fu before, and it's pretty much the entire Tong Fu roster that you had the last major. And I think that this was a team that was quite strong. Like, it was a team that had a lot of pieces in it that worked well. The old Tong Fu roster. Of course, when you had Faith leaving that team, was it Faith that was on it before? I don't remember. I'll have to check it. But anyways, the Tong Fu roster to me felt like it was constantly just like right on the verge of breaking out. And then when Newbie ends up picking them up and then renaming them Newbie Young, I don't know. I think there's some potential there. So yeah, it's good. There's a lot of these teams that end up having a lot of like when you talk about the like lower squads for Chinese Dota, you have two different dynamics. One is sometimes where the main squad is mainly just there to draw like stream viewers, and then you have some where the main squad is actually really talented. So I think there, for instance, eHome in comparison to Newbie. The main Newbie squad is incredibly talented, and they're getting invited directly to the major. All of those things. And then you have things where it's like, eHome, where you get knocked out the first or second round of open qualifiers 2 times in a row. And that's a team that's clearly been put together because of the names of the players as opposed to actual skill levels of them. And then you take a look at a team like VTJ, where they are actually the stronger squad in spite of sort of being like the meme team, if you think about it. And for both of these teams, this is probably the other brand of like lower quality, or not lower quality, but like B teams for their respective squads, where EHOME.Keen is probably the strongest of the eHomes right now. And then you have Newbie Young, who is the weaker of the newbies. But Newbie Young still might be stronger than EHOME.Keen just because this team, like, it feels like the Newbie organization committed to trying to make at least 2 squads that are talented. Newbie Boss, to me, was a really big disappointment. They're already out of these qualifiers. They are not going to be making it into the regional qualifiers even. And that was a team that, if you looked at their results leading up to it, they did well in the DAC qualifiers. They did well in the Star Ladder qualifiers. They did decently at least. Made it into some of the later rounds, and then they end up switching out Axe for Old 11, and then they're keeping Zhao 8 at carry, and then deciding to keep Zay 9 in the team as well. So the Newbie boss, it is the boss, and it's the team named after him. Kind of pulling down the rest of the squads there, if I do say so myself. It's kind of my own little axe to grind, if you will. No pun intended there. So, I don't know. It's sort of something that's a little bit frustrating there. And I think that time will tell how that ends up working out. I think that they would probably be drawing more ire of the Chinese community if Newbee was not doing so well in their other teams. But maybe you just don't need two teams that are really competitive. Who knows? Who knows? So into this actual game and what we're going to be seeing, probably one of the better qualifying matches that's going to be going on in this entire tournament, and it's in the round of 16. The other teams that are in this, you have things like Avalon Club, the CDECC team, you have LYG Gaming, eHome Luminous, Team Max, which isn't really that great either. Duelmo versus, what was the name of it? To Be or Not To Be. That's actually a match that might be interesting to watch as well. And then FTD Club A. Those are probably the extent of the matches, but I would say that these two are probably the two strongest teams out of the region. And I would expect, I think that EHOME.Keen has a really good chance to move on and actually make it to the regionals. I think that they might be the ones that are even a little bit more heavily favored over Newbee Young. And again, for anybody that's watching, I want to apologize for a little bit of the long delay that we had in between this game and the previous one. But unfortunately, what ended up happening is that the Chinese qualifiers happened sort of like clockwork continuously over and over and over again on the hour. And so this match was waiting until 11 p.m. Pacific time to actually start. And now that we're actually into it, we did have that like about half-hour break almost. So once this game is over, we are going to be switching over, I believe, to the Southeast Asian qualifiers. Actually, I haven't heard back from Cyclops, but that is going to be the plan. And if he's not there, then I'll just keep on staying around and keep you guys company. It doesn't matter that I've been here for a while at this point. There's Dota to cast, and Dota is going to be cast. Damn Skippy. I can't wait. This is going to be great. This is just going to be the best. The best in the world. Dota 2, ladies and gents. 10 seconds remaining. So last pick now for Newbee Young. They've already got Slardar, Juggernaut, Shadow Demon. They're going to pick a Clockwork. So a nice little bit of lockdown to augment the already insane DPS that they have through the Juggernaut and the Terrorblade. I feel like this is one of those matches where you can just run Jug mid constantly. It doesn't really matter how many times. Like, as long as he gets out of there with levels, it's going to be fine because Terrorblade's going to be able to free farm. And then you look over here on the side of EHOME.Keen. Minus armor strats abound with a good amount of CC. They still need another hero. Disruptor's really popular in China. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Whoa, okay. So they're going to go for the derp special. It's going to be the Sand King in the support role. Probably a dual lane with the Centaur Warrunner, I would imagine. That seems pretty solid to me. And then get aggressive with the against the Terrorblade. It might be a little bit greedy. That's the only thing that we could end up seeing. Like if Newbee Young get off to a hot start and they win their lanes hard, we could just end up seeing them roll over them. There was some calls for Kale before. Hopefully we don't get Great Wall, Firewall of China and end up with massive amounts of lag, but it does happen on occasion. I did buy a VPN when I was going to Starladder, so there's a chance that I could try and hook that up to this computer and see if it would work. But I'm also an idiot, so it might not work. But yeah, here we go. Into the game. Nope, not into the game. They're saying no. They don't want to do it. Wrong wants to party, but that's the wrong move. Man, the Clockwork set is kind of interesting. I don't know which one this is. He looks like Mega Man. Maybe he doesn't look like Mega Man. Yeah, he looks nothing like Mega Man. It was just the helmet. The helmet looks odd to me for some reason. I don't know what it is. If you take that helmet in a vacuum, what does it look like? Not exactly sure. This might actually be the final call to go. Iron Man. That's what I was thinking of. All right, yeah, he looks like Iron Man. I'm willing to take that. Ultraman? That's a possibility. Definitely a possibility. Well, regardless, heading out across the map. Looks like for a second there, Dark had 2 boots queued up. That's not what you want to do, mister. Movement out to place down a couple of wards. Jaja Sala. I believe spotted that one and also was another spot. So yeah, the ping comes out, and this should be a pretty easy D ward for him. Already Shadow Demon has himself a sentry. You see that Mau Mau is in position to try and take that rune as well. And we do look to be in a good position there. Trades off, gives the 2 tangos away. Kiadao. They're all going to be over here. I don't think that they're going to be able to come and like contest the D ward that's coming out. Maybe, just maybe, like Centaur could go and try and go for a stomp or something to interrupt it, but it seems unlikely. And actually, they might even just be able to get it here with the Slardar. So they get the D ward. Clockwork is heading up to the top lane, and it looks like they're going to try and aggro the Lifestealer. Man, and we're actually getting like no lag. This is great. Knock on wood. But I do believe that we should be fine. So already getting the D ward off. It does look like, was there another sentry that was placed? This one is being blocked out. This camp is also being blocked out. So no pulls, and do we have any on the Radiant side? It looks like Dazzle's going to come down here, although he doesn't have any sentries. And with like an aggro lane going into no pulls for the Radiant and very limited regen, and you're running a dual lane up top, this could be tough. Lifestealer is maybe one of the better heroes at dealing with aggression because Rage is going to allow him to get out of the situations, but he's not going to be able to farm, and that's the big issue here. So, got to be careful. They're going to bring the Sand King down, might try and just juke out from this, then they manage to find the Crush as well. Metamorphosis turning now onto this Lifestealer. He wants to battle, though. Xiao Xiao needs to be careful. Bro Strike going to connect through, but this is going to be First Blood drawn, and well, this is not the play in the least bit. EHOME.Keen, what are you doing? It's not where you want to be. A great start for them, absolutely. They don't have much regen either. I guess that they just bought a new set of tangos. Tango, tango, tango. Yeah, they're going to be okay. It's not the worst in the world. The big question is going to be how well does Shadow Fiend deal against the Juggernaut, and the answer so far is fairly well. It seems to be okay. Top lane, Clockwork up against the Centaur is going to pop the Battery Assault here. Just deal a little bit of chip damage to Dark. Would be surprised if there was a kill in this lane without a rotation. Not so much the case in the mid lane. You know, you get a level 2 Blade Fury up on this Juggernaut, and ends up being pretty rough for him. And now with no meta, Terrorblade is actually going to head up towards the top lane. They want to switch it off, don't want to take this lane. Instead, they're off to the side trying to get the block in. They have caught him now with the cogs, but, well, Terrorblade didn't jump in there with him, so the Octagon was not laid down enough for a kill. Sand King going to rotate up towards the top lane, wants to try and find that matchup against the Terrorblade to the best of his abilities. And yeah, Shadow Fiend is having himself a good time. And I think that this is the other big issue. Like, I do believe that EHOME.Keen is the more scary roster, just in general. I think that their teamwork is a little bit better, their play is a little bit better. Not by a ton, but a measurable amount. Like, I guess the equivalent in NA would probably be... What's a good example of this? Arcane Rune, by the way, with raises is super value. Although he is going to get pushed back. Oh! Ugh. That was a little ugly. Maybe like Newbee Young is Team Red, and EHOME is like Freedom. That's kind of the levels that I think we're dealing with here. Where neither of them is probably going to qualify, but there is still a bit of a skill disparity. And anything can happen any given day. Did have that sprint forward if you want to use it. Dark can keep the pressure on. Just going to double edge him with impunity. I don't know what the EU correlation would be. So, Xiao Xiao, he's going to be building towards those Tranquils. You see that Clockwork has been resigned to going into the jungle. Very frustrating indeed. It does look like there's going to be some movement out over here as well, and a little bit more pressure to be applied. As Terrorblade continuing to get the CS that he would want. But so too is the Centaur. He's getting a lot out of this, and you compare this to the other off lane for Newbee, and it's really not looking that great. Like Clockwork, he's level 3. It's not the best in the world. And Centaur, he's level 3 as well. If they can find a kill here, this would be big. They get the crush, the right clicks down. They've got all the damage in the world. Hoof Stomp going to be pump fake. They do eventually find it, but they will be able to go for another crush. Right clicks coming through. Dark is going to fall. Zhao Zhao gets the kill. Nicely done. Maybe I would say that both of these teams are around like the Horde level, maybe, for EU. On a good day, they'll qualify. That's probably a fair comparison. So 28-8 for the Shadow Fiend, 23-3 for the Jug. It's still pretty even across the board. You do have the CS for the Clockwork working out a little bit as well for himself. Burrow Strike going to go in. They get the Hoof Stomp as well. Double Edge coming out. And with the Heal Bomb, easy peasy kill. No Shadow Demon Disruption came out that time. And they are not going to be able to save their Terrorblade. And then another dive, going very deep for this. They find the kill on the Shadow Demon, but now Zhao Zhao is here as well. They're going to right-click wrong, ends up going able to go for the Shallow Grave. Will sacrifice himself for this, as I do believe they're able to find at least one kill. The chase is going to continue now. Burrow Strike not going to be online. They should be able to... Oh, I mean, there's no shrine there. They weren't quite in position. I don't think there was a shrine there. Let me check. No, I can't check it. We need some way to be able to see that. So yeah, 6 minutes in, and you can tell that it's still very even, about 1,000 lead into the favor of EHOME.Keen. Around 1,000 experience as well. 6 minutes, 6 kills. That's the way you want to see it. This is where you get aggressive. He's already used Omni Slash and wasn't able to find the kill onto the Shadow Fiend. But nonetheless, you could still try and make something happen with the regen. Sand King coming up top again. This very dangerous dual lane with Dazzle rotating up. Could make something happen. And they're also going to get the D ward, so even more going into their favor. Deny? Oh, there it is. You gotta take what you can get in that instance. So yeah, Clockwork, like, he's gotten a decent amount of CS, but it's come off the back of jungle creeps, which is why he's still a little bit behind the Centaur in experience. Even though basically he's had, like, you know, quote unquote a free lane to himself. Like a lane all to himself, whereas this has been a dual lane. Looking for the Burrow Strike, not quite in range. A little bit of body block coming in from the Centaur by Dark. And you can see that Terrorblade has no interest in staying in this lane for the moment. Wow. The smoke play is going to come out. Are they going to run into the... Was that actually a... Alright, that hurts. They used the smoke, and Shadow Demon is not in it now either, so they can't actually make the rotation and try to take down the Shadow Fiend. Maybe they can, like, do something up top here, but it's really not going to be easy. Alright, he goes back, takes down this medium camp. We'll see if he comes into double raise. If he does, maybe there's an opportunity there. But he's playing it so safe. Alright, one raise. So connect down to Mao Mao. Yeah, and see, there's the sprint. He spotted him out. Not going to be able to do it. Clockwork also is level 6. That's the thing. It's just all of these timings for Newbee Young aren't quite there. You have the Clockwork, who just gets his level 6, rotates in as soon as, like, the Slardar leaves, and Juggernaut has already used his... he does have another Omni Slash, and they have been able to find this Shadow Fiend. He's taken a lot of damage, but Grave is there as well, trying to run him down. There's a lot of heroes in the area. Kaodo does need to back out now. Raises down. And with Lifestealer here as well, with Omni Slash only level 1, nice is going to be there for the Cogs pushback. But yeah, this is still in the back of, like, Dark pushing up the tier 1 tower in the top lane. So it almost doesn't really even matter. The rotation's going to come in. Maybe they can find a kill here. Omni Slash is still there. Can they get him? Sand King also in some trouble, is going to die. They find that kill, at the very least. But yeah, all very just awkward right now coming out from Newbee Young. And this is what I was talking about, where I felt like EHOME.Keen is kind of just a little bit more clean with all of their execution and their movements around the map. They don't tend to mess up with like the rotations. Those metamorphoses used, so they find the kill on the Sand King, but what else do they get out of this? Are they going to be able to push the tower down? Lifestealer on top of the clock. They also use the Stampede up top here. It's not going to be anything, but they maybe are going to be able to find a kill. Well, uses the hook shot. He's walking away from this one. The Metamorphosis is out there, able to find one, but the Metamorphosis does finally wear off. And they aren't going to be able to get anything more than that first kill off of this. Well, top lane is going to be pressured in again. And, well, very rough.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And I feel like the Shadow Demon Dazzle combination is just one that's so incredibly strong. And the fact that they didn't really get a tower off of the Metamorphosis and also the pressure towards like the Clockwork Hook, they couldn't find a high priority kill, means that this is going to be like even more hampered in now. And Lifestealer's inside this creep. If you wanted to go for it, you know, a net on top of one of these heroes, the rest of the rotations coming in, maybe you make something happen off the back of this. Now. The rest of the Dire is smoked up here as well. 10 heroes in the bottom lane. Right now, the vision for the Radiant, pretty good, but the Dire vision a little bit better. They see everybody there, and they decide they want to back out. They have the Clockwork Hook. But they don't end up actually going in for it. Oh my god, what? 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 Get in there! Go after him! Oh, that would have been huge if they could have found him. Like, any kill at this point, because the game is so close, is still really great there for well, either team. It does feel like the first team to win that big initial engagement is going to have a huge advantage. How about the Blink Dagger situation? Where are we sitting on that? A couple of really big heroes there. Centaur still a little ways away. Sand King nowhere near it. And the Slardar is about 1,000 gold out from it. Well, Shadow Demon is going to create some illusions of himself to try and draw the creep wave past. This is going to do at least something, but they won't be able to draw him that far. Still going to be holding on to all that aggro. Clockwork very far behind them. Sand King almost caught him, but wasn't quite there. But yeah, again, the tower taking a lot of damage. They don't quite take it out as of yet. Shadow Fiend, Dragonlance already online. He is well on his way, just becoming that indomitable force that destroys everybody. Dark, he actually isn't going to be able to get this, I don't think. The Hoof Stomp is too long of a cast point. Tries to get it. They find the kill. Well played there by the Clockwork. And, well, I don't think that they're going to be able to find another here. He's probably going to end up dying. Does have at least 3 stick charges. The Slardar coming in as well. They might be able to buy enough time for themselves. Amp damage, and that will dissuade the rest of the Radiant from moving in. So they find the kill on the Centaur before his Blink Dagger and manage to get out with the Clockwork. That's the type of plays that they need out of these heroes. That was great. And now in the mid lane again, they've got eyes on this Shadow Fiend. He does have 2 points in the ulti. There's the Burrow Strike, keeping him alive for the moment. Stampede. The Lifestealer thinking about getting aggro here, but does have that heavy minus armor against him. The Burrow Strike, a little bit off the mark, looking for the crush, a second amp damage. This is now on to 3 of them with Omni Slash and a DD available. He can just destroy them, but no, the bounces are terrible. Really rough RNG there. They push them back. The Burrow Strike turning it now onto them. The Requiem Souls comes out as well. 1 raise, 2 raise. Can it be enough? They get the Sunder to turn it, and now everybody incredibly know from Newbee Young. They get another crush there onto Wrong. That will keep them back. They find the kill on the Sand King, and the only return kill was on that Shadow Demon. That was incredibly well fought by Newbee Young. Really impressive display there. But a very unlucky bounce from that Juggernaut with the Omni Slash. Oh, God, that was close. Yeah, and again, these are all very high skill players. You look in the MMR leaderboards, I'm pretty sure you'll find at least a few of the names. But the smoke now going out. Let me actually take a look. I can't do it right now. No way. Juggernaut is kind of left out here on his own, but with the Blink Dagger on Centaur, oh, this would be a big one. He is 40 gold. Oh, he was so close to the Blink Dagger there. That would have been a nice one if he could have just went out and farmed for himself. It's not that much gold lost. A lot of that was still caught up in his reliable gold. So he's still only about 200 gold away. But it's also that time off the map where now you're able to pressure in for a tower. You've got Treads, Aquila, Shadow Fiend. He's building back for a Hurricane Pike as his first big item. While the Shadow Demon Illusions try and keep the creeps off of the tower. And it will do that at least for the moment, but it looks like the Lifestealer can soak it up for a bit. You do have Terrorblade pushing in the bottom lane, as well as the Juggernaut pushing up top. But this will be a tier 2 tower gone. Lifestealer Infest moving forward, spotting the Sand King. That's a jump. You gotta go. He doesn't want to do it, though. Not willing to take that chance. Instead, he's going to go for the wraparound. They want to take the bigger play, I guess. Or... oh, he wants a bounty rune. All right. I guess that's fair. Sand King. Yeah, they're not going to be able to go for it. I thought that maybe, just maybe, they could get onto the Juggernaut, but not going to happen. That might have been the moment where Stampede with the Burrow Strike coming out from the Sand King could have caught him and gotten him, but wasn't quite there. All right, Clockwork wrapped around on. Wrong is there in the background. They have eyes on him. Some good vision. They hop out of the flare. All right, hook off the mark. They have already found one, though. Kdu is going to drop the Omni Slash. Not really doing a whole heck of a lot either. Mau Mau going to have to back out. Yeah, and they need to get out of here. Stampede continuing to chase. Raise one, maybe going to be able to take him down. Burst Strike right on the tipper there. And now looking for a bit more. That's going to be a Shadow Demon dead. Maybe Mau Mau can get out if it can manage to find it. Yeah, he's gone. So 8 to 7, around 1,300 gold. Swing off of the back of that one, and Radiant continuing to build the sort of dominant lead that you might expect from this team. And again, it's just sort of like those one couple of team fights. They end up taking them. They move from tower to tower, secure them, and soon it's going to be Roche too. Like these. Oh, all right. If they can go in and secure this early, they need to go and try and take Roshan right now. I think that that's the play right now if you're Newbee Young, but it does not look like that's what they're willing to do. I feel like if they want to survive the next little salvo, they have to try and like sneak a Roshan. But yeah, they're already moving over. EHOME.Keen knows what's up.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yasha there as well. You've got the Blink Dagger up now for the Slardar. 17 minutes. They're still missing a lot of those core items that they need to really take it to that next level. But at least for now, Radiant have that kind of lead that they can sort of nurse continuously. Oh. Shadow Demon? I mean, this is the other nice little piece of their draft that they want to be able to put together is the Shadow Demon Illusions of Terrorblade. And it's kind of weird because now it's feeling to me as if EHOME.Keen, they don't want to try and go for the Infest ganks as much. They just want to try and, you know, secure the advantage. They don't have much sustain outside of the Dazzle, so he's always going to have to stay like way to the back of the fights. which is where you can sort of maybe find some value out of the Clockwork. But in that last engagement down towards the bottom tier 2 tower on the Radiant side, obviously missing the hook and getting initiated on by the Lifestealer and the Centaur, not the way to start it. Mao is going to try and force them back and pressure the tier 2 tower here, but it looks like,
Dire's top tower is under attack.
for now at least, EHOME.Keen are not going to take the bait.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So, let me see, have I heard anything from Mr. I've not heard anything yet from Mr. Cyclops.
Dire's top tower is under
So as for now, I'm going to continue to cast these qualifiers until he gets back to me, which will be fine. As Mao pressuring the tier 2 tower in the bottom lane.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Okay. All right, never mind. Just got word. We'll be good.
Dire's top tower.
All right, tier 3 tower starting the pressure on.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
We
attack.
do have TPs in to try and defend, but the tower is already gone, and the crush is off the mark. And they've used a shrine from bad to worse. A whole collect. Oh man, oh man. Newbee Young, what is going on? That is not the way that this needs to be going. And now the shrine gonna go down as well. All right. So they haven't made the best use of that blink dagger yet. It's not completely, you know, been what needed to happen. Oh, they left that creep there. Oh, I would be so mad if I was the Juggernaut right now. All I want to do is hit some creeps and farm. They are not going to run into him there. Oh, if they scanned right now, this would, like, you can see the positioning here. The heroes that are, you know, going to be able to tank that gank are in a great spot for it. Maybe the Dazzle ends up being punished. They spot out the Terror Blade. The jump forward crush connects onto one, but now Lifestealer's on top of him. This is a huge problem. There's the Burrow Strike. A little bit of miscommunication there, but they get the Hoof Stomp as well. Slardar gone. That is a jump in, and they're able to take down the Sand King. They buy back on the Slardar, trying to get into this one, and, well, maybe in a little bit of trouble now. The Lifestealer, very low on HP, is going to be run down, but there's the Epicenter turnaround. There isn't the follow-up, though. They need the Shadow Fiend here for the damage. Right-clicks, double edge. There's the kill. Now the pushback from the Cogs not going to be there. They're really able to force staff to the other side of it, and they take down the clock. Triple for Dark. Great combo coming out, and they made that work beautifully. So double buybacks, one on the Sand King, one on the Slardar, but this should enable them to secure Roshan, and now Dark looking for more. Is he going to get it? Oh, he stole the Ultra kill. The hell, man. Well, it's probably for the best. I don't know if they would have been able to find it otherwise. So Roshan soon to go down. What is already looking like a very dominant game from EHOME.Keen will probably just be continued off the back of this. 13-9.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And yeah, there we go. Aegis on the Lifestealer.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Very strong display. And it's just like that next tier of items again. You've got the Blade Mail there for the Clockwork, sure. But now you're almost, like, you're 3/4 of the way to Aghanims for Centaur. So if they, Newbee Young, do not make something happen around this time, then they're now in a terrible position because they're going to be a whole item behind throughout the rest of the next set of fights. But now with the Aegis on the line, they also can't really take fights. All in all, if Newbee Young are going to win this game, it would need to be around like that 45-minute mark, honestly. We would need to have like 20 more minutes of gameplay, but I am not seeing that really happening here unless there's just a massive overextension, which does not seem likely. And Clockwork, will he be spotted? He shoots out the flare. That does reveal the Sand King and everybody else heading up towards the top, but they spot out that there's an Observer Ward there. Already going to not really matter. I mean, they can see that they're there, but there's nothing that they can do about it. Newbee Young cannot fight this at the moment. Juggernaut, in the meantime, jump in, crush. All right, nice combo. The counter Burrow Strike, though, comes out, and Well, trying to do a good bit of damage. That Clockwork is down. Everybody's caught in the cogs, but Meow, he's taking so much damage from that Lifestealer. Already going to end up dropping, and now Jojo tries to get him out. The Burrow Strike counter initiation play comes out. BKB a little bit late, but he is going to have the Sunder available. He can turn this on to anybody if he wants to, but Lifestealer about to die. He does end up going down. That's just the Aegis. Oh, a little bit off the mark. Wasn't able to find that double edge and hoof stomp. That might have been the kill, but that's a dieback now for Clock. 40 seconds. Omni Slash comes out, tries the Requiem of Souls, able to get off the Blade Fury, so the Jug doesn't take the damage, but the Life Sealer, well, he's still able to get on top of that Terra Blade. That's going to be a dead Slardar. This could potentially be game. 40 seconds with no Terra Blade and everybody alive for EHOME.Keen. Yeah, that's looking rough. Has the Manta style in a second as well. And just continue to pressure down these towers, and unfortunately for Newbee Young, that is going to be the end of it, the end of their qualifier run. At least an EHOME team in some form or fashion is going to be moving on in these. We'll see if they can make it through the rest of them. They are going to proceed to the round of 8, where I believe it is still one more single elimination match. Yeah, and then of course after that we move into the semifinals where it turns into a best of 3. So nice little opening to this. The other teams that are in this qualifier are, let me just take a look. CDECC, I expect them to move on. Avalon will probably move on. EHOME Luminous, Max. EHOME.Keen is probably going to end up facing Duaobao, I would imagine. And that might be the next big matchup that we end up seeing. But for now, I do believe we're going to be switching it over to the Southeast Asian qualifiers, where we've got Hades Dota to hop in and cover those matches as well. And we'll see if they're actually up and online. They should be pretty soon. If not, then he'll hop in and do some Chinese Dota, I'm sure, as well, which is always great to watch. But yeah, for now, thank you guys so much for tuning in and joining me throughout this. I had Rhyme on earlier. Be sure to give him a follow at Rhyme Dota. Of course, myself at Lyrical Dota if you feel so inclined as well. But a good, nice little 8-ish hours of Dota. Some of that, a good portion of that doing the solo cast as well. It's always fun. The open qualifiers time, it's like, to me, it feels like some of the best brands of Dota. It reminds me of back when I was doing like in-house league casting. It's constantly things that are like that. So yeah, I'm going to bring down the stream now. I hope that you guys enjoyed again. Be sure to tune in tomorrow where we're going to continue after the Southeast Asian stuff that's happening right now. We're going to then sort of roll back the clock again, go into the Europeans rounds, the second series for them, where we're going to see if the teams that were eliminated in the open qualifiers #1 can move on, and then NA will be following that one up. I'm not sure if veggies are playing again or not. There seemed to be a little bit of backlash online for that one. And then, of course, we just continue on and finish off China and then SEA. And then it's regionals! It's going to happen. I'm really excited. It's going to be great. You guys should be looking forward to all of the great action that's going to be covered here. But for the next, I don't know, 6 days, 7 days, if you ever want to watch Dota, just tune into the channel. It's going to be on. It's going to be live. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be lit, you could even say. But we'll be back in a little bit. Hades Dota going to be bringing you action. We'll see you guys tomorrow.